Feel her up, Paul. Feel her up, Paul. She likes it harder. Squeeze her hard, baby. Paul, she likes it hard. This is your isekai life. This is where you went after your death. Make us proud. Because I know, Ball, and most anime fans don't. Sometimes you have to herd the cattle into the pen. And in this case, Mushoku Tensei Ifro, aka Paul Greyrat's second life, aka Old Country Bumpkin, is here. And yes, you heard me right. He gives it to her hard. Now do me a solid, give it to me hard by slapping that like to show your support. Subscribe, ring that bell if you haven't already. But Patreon is where you're going to catch those full live reactions, all some more, which is probably where most of the content will live this season because, while I can bait in a few Mushoku Tensei fans with that title, I can only do it for so long before I become the boy who cries wolf. But I did forget a lot of people used to say that in season 1. They'd be like, hey, it's like Paul Greyrat, because he does look a lot alike. It's like just slightly different. And then you have a character who kind of looks like a grown-up heiress. I mean, hell, Mue could kind of look like a Roxy if, like, just slimmed down a bit. I mean, the show in general, it does share a lot of visual similarities. The thing that makes it so different, it's just the wholesome. Deadass, you know a show is good when one of my favorite scenes in the entire week is a girl who has had a shitty life up until recently, sitting with a bunch of her classmates. And you want to know what the drama was? She just didn't really want to talk about her home life. Because her home life, while she loves it, she just didn't feel comfortable explaining it to the general public. And her classmate to the right, I think her name's Cindy, immediately recognized that and said, you know what? I don't want all that pressure to be on her. She doesn't feel comfortable talking about her home life. That's okay. Anyway, it's my birthday coming up this weekend. You explain that to someone who's not watching the show, they're going to be like, oh my god. You're gonna seriously look at me in the face and tell me that's better than my Unga Boonga action earlier in the week? Yeah. Because knowing what she went through in season 1, seeing how good her life is turning out in season 2, you don't need to be like, oh my god, she's getting bullied. Oh my god, like, things are... No, sometimes it's okay to have conflict that's just super personal to the person, and to immediately establish a friendship right from the get-go, because here's the thing, right? Growing up in school, I'm sure there was, for one person out of 10,000 probably would do the fucking toddler thing. Do you want to be friends? But that usually stops after kindergarten. Like, let's be real. Most friendships naturally blossom. You just realize you're friends one day. That's what happened here. And that's what I love about this. Drama comes in all shapes and sizes. And I don't want every single piece of drama to be like this, because then everything would be boring. But Old Country Bumpkin exists in its own special bubble, where there is action conflict. Look at the end of the episode. We're going to be throwing some hands next week against a Shadow Wolf. Episode 1, we had a duel. Teacher versus teacher. But you know a show is good when a story arc about... And it's so simple. She dropped a fucking piece of carrot on her dress. School must run this ship with an iron fist, because it was enough for debate of, do we need to change your whole outfit? Silly as fuck to me, but you know what? I guess that's how the school operates. She uses her handkerchief to clean you up. She then also shows you just how genuine she is as a homegirl. Then you spend all night cleaning said handkerchief to then give it back to her. Do you think Cindy gave a fuck about that handkerchief? I doubt it. Like, maybe it was actually important to her. But I'd like to believe that she didn't need it back and she was completely fine getting a new one, right? Like, it is what it is. It's dirty, it's stained, who gives a shit? But because she went out of her way to clean it, it shows what type of person she is, and in doing so, we get this very sweet friendship scene. And you know what? I baited some of you in, right? I thought I was getting the gift out of Mushoku Tensei, and you talking about friendship in school? This is lame. You're lame. No, because this guy right here is one of the best adult figures in the 2020s. Deadass. There ain't a problematic bone in this guy's body. He doesn't have any sexual assault cases against him. He does nothing but support. He aids. And the fact that you can end the episode with some Shadow Wolf, which is seemingly negating all magic. Which, hey, you know, our boy, these fists, are going to do just fine without magic, given the type of sworded structure he is. It's going to be really funny, too, because there's this one teacher or principal, I think it was vice principal, whatever it was, at the beginning of the episode talking mad shit like, why'd you bring this guy who doesn't even have magic around me? Like, yeah, well, thank you. We're going to save your life, you dumb prick. This guy, I trust, is going to lead this kingdom to great things. Because, yeah, he is his own worst enemy. He definitely doubts himself, but given that most of his life he was just some old country bumpkin in the countryside training the youth of decent swordplay, it makes sense. And the only thing you can kind of criticize about the show, if you ask me, is, yeah, sometimes when he's still like, I'm just an old instructor, you want to roll up a newspaper and bapple on the nose and say you're a fucking moron. But we love you. They set in motion last week that this is all about putting him into situations that forces him to grow, because unlike most people, yes, he may be middle-aged, he still has room to grow because of his natural talents. He beats everyone he fucking duels. He is absolutely amazing. To him, well, they only lost because they didn't use all their magic on me. They held themselves back. They only lost because I accidentally got a cheap blow into him. He'll always find an excuse because he has low self-esteem. But by forcing him into a kind of sensei mentor role, he's going to be growing more and more and more and more. I don't expect we will get a full adaptation of this. But, depending on how Season 2 goes, and if we never see a Season 3, or wherever it decides to stop, I might have to check out the source material to get that full adaptation experience, because I want to see how far they push him. Because he is legitimately one of the best kind of like characters, really. A guy you could trust around your kids, a guy you could trust to solve any issue, a guy who would gladly step in the way of a fucking shooter to take the death for himself so that someone he's never met would survive. This is a great fucking character, and whatever I gotta do to bait people in to check this show out, I will do. I said it last week, I mean, the swordplay is some of the most realistic in modern anime, and that's not an exaggeration. You gotta keep peeking this one. In my opinion, it's one of the top 5 sequels of this season, but it is what it is. YouTube videos will eventually die off. Maybe this will be the last you hear from me, but just know, Paul Greyrat's Isekai Second Life, do I trust? You let me know your thoughts on this week's episode. It was a simple one, but simple doesn't need to be equal bad. And I think if a episode that can be boiled down to a girl finding her way in her new school life can be this enjoyable, you know you're cooking in a show that a lot of people might only be watching to see the next sword fight, you know what I mean? But your thoughts, make sure you leave a like, share your support, give it to me hard in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts, and you can, of course, go over to the Patreon. I would say it gets spicy over there, but it ain't OnlyFans. But there is a lot of good deep dives, so consider supporting. And if you're already over there, I'll give you a video shout out too, because my patrons are what make this YouTube channel possible. So today we got Cute Kooks, Porpoise Power, Jaden for Life, Jack Wit, and we also have Oreo. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Give it to me. Whew, have a good one.